Hey guys, Profe Pablo here. I have figured out a way that I can teach you in English and try and keep the class in Spanish. So these videos are going to be available to you on the internet so that you can see them and learn in your house some things in English and come to class and practice them in Spanish. Today we're going to be talking about the verbs ser and estar, which both mean in English to be. But there's two different kinds of be's, so we need to go through the differences. But first let's conjugate them. Now a lot of you guys have seen this chart. It's called a verb chart, and something I wanted to point out that maybe you haven't noticed is this side of the verb chart is singular, and this side of the verb chart is plural. Okay? So we already have our pronouns here. We have yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, ellos, ellas. And let's go ahead and conjugate the verb ser. Yo soy, try and stay ahead of me. Tú eres, él, ella, usted es, nosotros somos, ellos, ellas, and I forgot one actually. Ellos, ellas, and ustedes. Then we come down here, son. Now remember, we're not using the vosotros form. That's only in España. So this is how you conjugate the verb ser. Now let's do the verb estar. Estar is a little bit easier. It's more of a regular verb. Yo estoy. Tú estás. Él, ella, usted está. Nosotros estamos. Now look, I don't have an accent on this one. You don't need it. Only on the other ones. Ellos, ella, ustedes están. Okay, so I hope you're taking notes. You can take a second and write this down. Let's practice pronouncing while you do that. Yo estoy. Tú estás. Él, ella, usted está. Nosotros estamos. Ellos, ellas, ustedes están. Very easy. Okay, so the second part of this class, we're going to be talking about the difference between the verb ser and the verb estar, and their different uses. Now, ser, when you think of ser, I want you to think of permanent, something that's permanent, that's going to last a really long time. Permanent. I hope that's spelled right in English. I'm a Spanish teacher. And it's also used for telling time. And I realize time's always running. It's not something permanent. So just remember permanent and telling time. Now something permanent, for example, is yo soy alto. It's who I am. It's something permanent. Or yo soy Pablo, that's my name, that's who I am. Or you could say, for example, tú eres, and then you name a characteristic of that person. Tú eres guapo, good looking. And that's something that's permanent. You know, you might wake up with a bad hair day every now and then, but relatively it's something permanent, something you're saying that's firm. Now, estar is different. This talks about things that change, like emotions, and location. Emotions and location. Yo estoy triste. That means I'm sad, and that can change. If you give me a lollipop, I'll be happy. Location change. Yo estoy aquí, and then I could go somewhere else. Yo estoy allá. It changes. A good rhyme to remember with estar, and my Spanish teacher taught me this, is how you feel and where you are, always use the verb estar. I know that's a little cheesy, but say it with me. How you feel and where you are, always use the verb estar. Now let's go over some more examples in written form, just so you can see these verbs in use. Let's say that we go to a football game together and our team wins. How are we going to say that? Go ahead and give it a try before I write it. Okay, we would say something like estamos felices, or we could say estamos contentos. Now obviously that's going to change because the next game we might not do as good, or tomorrow we have to go back to school so we're sad. That changes. Estamos contentos. Now when we're saying that something that's permanent, we could say somos americanos. That's something that's permanent. We're Americans. That's probably not going to change. It's good, but it's who we are. So this is how you feel, this is who you are, and don't forget, how you feel and where you are, always use the verb estar. You guys can do this, you're doing great.